On today's show, the Denver Nuggets title defense this season begins with a statement win against the LA Lakers on opening night after their ring ceremony. What are the vibes kind of surrounding this Denver Nuggets team as they head out for their conquest to win yet another NBA title? And is Nikola Jokic just the most unguardable player in the NBA? Plus the origin of the "Who's Your Daddy" chant. It's all coming up right here at Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Now, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and then you watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is so simple to play. You just make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. It's that easy. They have quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. It's what makes PrizePicks the #1 DFS sports app on the market. PrizePicks even offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday each Tuesday, where PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. You've got to check it out. If you've been trying to figure out a way to get into DFS, go check out PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA or code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. Joining us now is the host of Locked On Nuggets and Locked On NBA, Matt Moore. You can track down wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Locked On Nuggets. And Matt, the title defense has started for the Denver Nuggets, your NBA reigning champions. You were there on opening night against the LA Lakers. We're going to get into some of that game here in just a second, but walk us through just the banner unveiling, the ring ceremony, the first championship in Nuggets history, all that. You were there. Just soak it, walk us through the moment.
I've been lucky in my career to have gone to a lot of championship nights in terms of the being in the building for teams clinching championships, but I had never been at a banner night. I had just never been on in a visiting arena for the first night of the season for a defending champion. So this is a new experience for me, and I got to tell you, it was amazing. It was really incredible to see. I've described Game 5 of the finals last year as the most hope I've ever felt in a building before a game there in Ball Arena, and this was the happiest I think I've ever seen in an arena. Just everyone was all smiles. The positivity, the enjoyment, the excitement of the night was really palpable and incredible. Michael Malone getting emotional when he gets the ring because he's thinking of his father who passed away 2 weeks ago. Seeing the banner go up, that team celebrating that moment. I talked to the guys afterwards, and it was funny because the players had kind of talked a lot about how, look, last year was last year. Like, yeah, the ring ceremony will be cool, whatever. But, we're going to turn the page. We want to repeat all this it's time to get to work, etc. There was a lot of emotion, even from Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon really talked about this, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who already had a ring. It is really emotional to get that ring. I got to look at the rings post-game. DeAndre Jordan was showing everybody kind of what they look like. Aaron Gordon as well. There's a mini ring that goes inside the ring. That's for, quote, casual day use. You just want to walk around with a ring that's worth more than my salary. That's a thing that you can do. As the sub ring to the big ring, really phenomenal
rings.
night.
This is nice.
A ring, yeah, exactly. Okay. Phenomenal night, really incredible moment. One that Nuggets fans, I'm sure, will never forget as the first in their franchise history.
And then following the Nuggets, elation, all the happiness around the ring ceremony, celebrating, last season's triumph. A statement win, I think, against the LA Lakers, 119-107, in which Anthony Davis was held scoreless in that second half. Was that, like, what kind of a statement does that make for the Denver? It was just like, hey, we're still the team to beat this year. Like, we're still the guys that won this title last year.
It's kind of funny because I think they were ready to ease into that game like any sort of regular season contest. And then LeBron goes down and has like a powerful drive to the rim for a dunk, like right away. And you saw the Nuggets running back, and there was this kind of sense that their facial expressions were, oh, okay, all right, so we're doing this. Okay, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. And the intensity like ticked up from there, and those two teams really went back at it. Great game, great performance by Denver. I think to a certain degree, it's a statement, but it's less about a statement to the rest of the league, and it's more about asserting to themselves that if we play the right way, we're going to be extremely tough to beat. That there's a way that we should play, and when we do that, like we did throughout the playoffs and throughout the 16-4, we're going to have a really good chance to beat anybody in the league. And Davis, not surprising that he disappeared. It's a tough environment. He's not made for those kind of environments. Like if it's an undersized lottery team on a Tuesday, that's more AD's speed. But like LeBron was there and we really kind of wanted this one. And even he, like his body language changed about 5 minutes in of, oh no, like, oh, this is going to be tough because they picked right back up. I asked Aaron Gordon after the game if he was surprised. Nuggets only had 11 turnovers, shot great from the field. If he was surprised at how well things clicked together so immediately. And AG said, honestly, it felt like we stopped playing yesterday. We just picked it right back up. And MPJ kind of expressed those same sentiments. This team, especially the starting unit, has so much trust and belief in themselves and that starting unit and how they play because they have proof of concept now. They won the title. And so that allows them to have the kind of trust and belief. And those things really do carry over onto the basketball court. I can talk stats and metrics and numbers, but it starts with that, I think. And that's what's going to make Denver extremely tough to beat in their title defense.
Yeah, some of those intangible things, right? The chemistry, all of that those starters have. I can't remember the last time I saw a team that played as cohesive and as well as they do together as a 5-man unit on the floor. And it all starts with Nikola Jokic, right? The straw that stirs the drink for the Nuggets. And I feel like we've had this conversation before, and I'm sure we'll have it many times here in the future, Matt. But I mean, Jokic is already off to a ridiculous start to this season. He's averaging 25.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, just under 10 assists per game, basically averaging a triple-double pretty much. And I mean, we've talked about it before, but is there an effective way to guard him, or is he just the most unguardable player in the NBA?
Yeah, I think he's the most unguardable player in the NBA. I just don't think that there's a counter. He figures you out as the other essential problem here, where guys will have some success on him on a possession or two, but then he just counters and switches up. He's got so many options now. The Lakers opted to go to late in the first half after Anthony Davis was once again scored through like he was water. They elected to go to a small ball switch tactic. Hey, let's bring a small ball and we'll have these little guys. And Jokic missed 4 in a row. And then the second half, they ran them back through pick and rolls using the big man or the little man there in that instance, guarding Jokic, trying to guard as the screener. They're not comfortable in those situations, and the Nuggets got bucket after bucket after bucket. They have too many options. Joker knows how to exploit every single angle, and he's extremely efficient and a great shot maker, and he's super powerful, and the Nuggets all have size. It's just very hard. Most teams in the NBA, you can find like this is what they're bad at. There are things Denver will struggle at, and they'll have their struggles this season like every team does. They're harder to find than most teams that you're going to find night to night in the NBA.
I'll be curious to see if this year is maybe not like a revenge season for Jokic, because he maybe should have gotten like the 3-peat MVP last year. And look, Jokic hates the MVP discussions, whatever. Like, honestly, it's a little tired and worn out discussing it, but his name's going to be in the mix this year. And, he could very well earn his third one here in the not so distant future. But for the uninitiated, at one point there, opening night, we got the Who's Your Daddy chants in the crowd at Ball Arena. For those unfamiliar with the story as to where that came from, can you walk the fans through it?
There was a reporter that introduced Michael Malone as the Lakers' daddy at the parade. That was like the first kind of instance of that being mentioned. It's funny when that happened. Everyone's seen the clip of Jamal Murray realizing what they're chanting and then turning to Michael Malone and be like, "You did this." After the game, Michael Porter Jr. told me, he was like, "Honestly, we don't really love all that stuff that the fans were chanting. We just want to let our game speak for ourselves." You can tell that the players were a little bit like, "Guys, that's still LeBron. Like, can we not? Because that's like you guys get to stay home and we have to go to LA later this season, and that's going to be a pain to deal with." But look, for a franchise that has always been kind of, even fans in Denver have felt like they were second rate, that the team was second rate, that teams like the Nuggets don't win NBA championships. They're at the top now. and they have the edge, and they're going to, I think, savor this as much as possible until the run's over. And we just don't know when that's going to be.
Will the Denver Nuggets continue to buzzsaw through the NBA again this season? Will they be able to defend their title? You'll have us covered for all of that and more over at Locked On Nuggets. Matt, thanks for stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
Thanks for having me.